Did you know that since the dawn of the Industrial Revolution, the global temperature has spiked by over 1 degree Celsius? This crucial development in human history, the Industrial Revolution, began around the mid-18th century, and it marked an unparalleled period of extreme transformations that fundamentally rearranged the trajectory of our world. It was a time when significant innovations in technology, communications, transportation, and manufacturing took place, transitioning the world from an agrarian, slow-paced lifestyle to a more fast-paced industrial and urban society. For centuries, the primary economic structure was based on farming and handicrafts. But the Industrial Revolution radically changed that. It commenced in Great Britain, once a nation of small rural communities, and then gradually spread across Europe, North America, and eventually, the whole world. The transformation was astounding. Where once lush green fields dominated, factories sprouted up, belching out smoke and casting a shadow over the rural idyll. Villages grew into bustling cities and the landscape began to morph, witnessing the birth of modern industrial society. However, such rapid progress was not without its costs. The Industrial Revolution was primarily powered by the combustion of fossil fuels, including coal initially, and later oil and gas. These seemingly magic substances, buried deep within the Earth's crust and formed over millions of years, became the lifeblood of this new industrial era. These fuels were abundant, cheap, and easy to transport, making them an obvious choice for powering the newly invented steam engines, powering factories, and later automobiles and power stations. As the world became more industrialized, our reliance on these fossil fuels only increased. Oil, coal, and natural gas powered our factories, our ships, our homes, and our cities. They were for the production of steel, for heating, for the manufacturing of goods, and for the generation of electricity. The industrial nations grew and prospered. Economies flourished, living standards improved, and the world seemed to an unstoppable march towards progress and prosperity. However, there was a hidden cost to this progress. When these fossil fuels are burned, they release dioxide into the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas, which means it has the ability to trap heat within the Earth's atmosphere. This process is known as the greenhouse effect. It's a natural process, and without it, life on Earth would not be possible. But when it is exacerbated by human activities, it leads to an increase in the Earth's average temperature, a phenomenon known as global warming. As the number of factories increased, and as our consumption of fossil continued to rise, the levels of carbon dioxide in our atmosphere began to climb. Today, these levels are higher than at any time in the last 800,000 years. This has resulted in a significant increase in the Earth's average temperature, with severe consequences for our climate. Rising sea levels, melting ice caps, more frequent severe weather events, and a loss of biodiversity are just some of the effects we are already witnessing. The reliance on fossil fuels and the subsequent emission of greenhouse gases is directly linked to the process of industrialization. While the Industrial Revolution brought remarkable advancements and improvements in living standards, it also ignited the chain of events leading to our current climate crisis. The struggle between industrial progress and environmental conservation is an ongoing and complex which we continue to grapple with even today. This is the fundamental cause and effect relationship between industrialization and climate change. So, did you know that since the dawn of the Industrial Revolution, the global temperature has spiked by over 1 degree Celsius? This is a greater change than any other century-long period in the past 1,000 years and a sobering reminder of the impact we have on our planet. Industrialization has led to an exponential increase in the production of goods, resulting in astounding energy consumption and rapidly proliferating emissions. This upsurge in the industrial sector has not only transformed the economic landscape, but also marked a steep incline in the usage of power resources. The vast factories, colossal production units, and gargantuan industrial machinery that stand as symbols of progress and prosperity are, in fact, the main culprits behind the accelerated energy consumption and the consequent rise in emission levels. This higher level of emissions, largely composed of greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide and methane, has played a significant role in upsetting the balance of our planet's ecosystem. Gases, known for their ability to trap heat, have led to an increase in the Earth's average temperature, a global phenomenon that has come to be known as global warming. The term, though tossed around commonly nowadays, represents a deeply alarming trend of environmental degradation and climatic instability. Global warming is not just a standalone issue but acts as a trigger, setting off a chain reaction of changes within the Earth's climate system. It is akin to a domino effect, where the fall of one piece triggers the collapse of the in succession. The rise in temperature is the first domino, leading to a series of catastrophic events that threaten to throw the planet's climactic balance out of whack. On a planetary scale, this temperature rise translates into more frequent and severe weather events. Hurricanes, typhoons, heat waves, and droughts, once rare occurrences, have now become frighteningly commonplace. Their frequency and intensity have increased manifold, causing widespread destruction and loss of life. These weather catastrophes are symptomatic of a larger, more menacing problem: a planet in peril. Alongside this, the rising temperatures cause the polar ice caps to melt at an unprecedented speed, leading to rising sea levels. This rise poses a direct threat to coastal communities and low-lying countries, with the risk of submersion looming large. The Great Barrier Reef, Maldives, Venice, and numerous other places of natural and cultural significance stand brink of oblivion, their existence threatened by the relentless surge of the sea. Furthermore, the underlying fabric of our planet's biodiversity, the ecosystems, are also being drastically affected. Disruptions to ecosystems and agriculture are disturbing the balance of nature. Our forests, oceans, rivers, and other ecosystems, which have thrived in a delicate balance for millennia, are now in a state of upheaval. Species are going extinct, habitats are being lost, and food chains are in disarray. The effects of climate change are far-reaching, devastating, and startlingly tangible. They threaten our health, our food supply, our economies, and the world's biodiversity. A rise in vector-borne diseases, food supply shortages due to crop failures, economic instability, the loss of livelihoods, and a sharp decline in species variety paint a bleak picture of a world marred by climate change. Lastly, but most importantly, it is the most vulnerable among us. Children, the elderly, the poor, and marginalized communities who are hit the hardest by the effects of climate change. In the face of this global menace, they are the ones who bear the brunt of the impact, their plight exacerbated by their lack of resources and capacity to adapt. Their suffering is a poignant reminder of the urgent need for action to address and combat the effects of climate change. The story of industrialization is a tale of progress and power, but also a story of environmental degradation and climate change. This saga starts with the advent of the Industrial Revolution in the late 18th century. This period, primarily observed in Europe and America, marked a shift from hand production methods to machines, leading to the rise of the factory system. The first wave of industrialization was fueled by the power of coal and steam. These resources, once harnessed, drove the engines of growth and progress, propelling societies into an era of unprecedented prosperity. Mills and factories sprang up, churning out goods at a pace unthinkable in previous generations. Railways and steamships crisscrossed the globe, shrinking distances and connecting people as never before. This period saw an explosion of innovation and creativity, with inventions like the steam engine, the telegraph, and the sewing machine transforming everyday life. Yet, as factories mushroomed and cities expanded, the environment began to bear the brunt of this relentless drive for progress. Forests were felled to make way for farmland and towns, rivers were polluted with industrial waste, and the air filled with soot and smoke. This was the darker side of industrialization, the cost that was often overlooked in the rush for wealth and power. The environmental consequences of industrialization did not remain confined to the local vicinity of the factories. The widespread burning of fossil fuels resulted in higher concentrations of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, laying the foundation for today's climate change crisis. Global temperatures started to rise, ice caps began to melt, patterns became more unpredictable. As industrialization spread to other parts of the world, so too did its environmental impact. Developing countries, eager to catch up with their more advanced counterparts, often prioritized economic growth over environmental protection. The result was a global environmental crisis that threatens the very survival of our planet. Yet the story of industrialization is not a tale of doom and gloom. It's also a story of resilience and innovation. Even as we grapple with the consequences of our past actions, we are also developing new technologies and practices that can help mitigate the damage and create a more sustainable future. From renewable energy sources to green manufacturing processes, we are finding ways to balance progress and environmental stewardship. The story of industrialization also challenges us to think about our role in this saga. Are we mere bystanders, passive spectators to the unfolding drama? Or power to shape the narrative to influence the direction of this tale? This is a question that each of us must grapple with as we navigate the complexities of the modern world. Despite the challenges that industrialization has posed, it has also brought about remarkable changes in our lives. It has given us the conveniences of modern life, from cars to computers, and has lifted millions out of poverty. Yet, these benefits have come at a cost. The environmental degradation and climate change we now face are the direct consequences of our industrial past. The story of industrialization, therefore, is not just a tale of progress and power. It is also a tale of responsibility and accountability. It's a tale that demands that we look beyond the immediate gains to consider the long-term impacts of our actions. It's a story that challenges us to rethink our relationship with the earth and to consider the kind of world we want to leave for future generations. In summary, the Industrial Revolution marked a significant shift in human history that has had and continues to have profound consequences. It was a transformational time when new manufacturing processes came into existence, transforming economies and societies across the globe. The advancements ushered in by this revolution have been momentous, touching almost every aspect of human life. They have redefined the ways we work, communicate, travel, live, and even think. It was indeed a period of spectacular progress that has set the trajectory for modern civilization as we know it today. Precisely, it was a time that witnessed the advent of factories, railways, and the steam engine, inventions that propelled mankind forward at an unprecedented pace. Nonetheless, along with such phenomenal progress, the Industrial Revolution also set us on a path that's leading towards environmental degradation and climate change. This transition initiated a change that was fueled by the seemingly insatiable burning fossil fuels such as coal, oil, and natural gas. Overconsumption of these non-renewable resources not only catered to the energy requirements of a rapidly growing population, but also resulted in the release of prodigious amounts of carbon dioxide into the Earth's atmosphere. It was this carbon dioxide, a potent greenhouse gas, that acted as a blanket, trapping the Earth's heat. The result was a phenomenon known as global warming, a slow but steady rise in the Earth's temperature. This temperature increase, although it may not seem like much, has triggered a cascade of changes to the Earth's climate system. These changes, subtle at first but accelerating as time goes on, are to a shift in climate patterns. The implications of these shifts are far-reaching and detrimental, affecting every aspect of life on Earth. As the temperature continues to rise, the polar ice caps are melting at an alarming rate, causing sea levels to rise. This rise in sea levels threatens coastal cities, potentially displacing millions of people. At the same time, weather patterns are becoming more unpredictable, leading to severe droughts in some areas and torrential rains in others. These extreme weather events are affecting crop yields, threatening our food supply. It doesn't stop there. The rising temperatures also exacerbate health issues, increasing the frequency of heat-related illnesses and diseases spread by mosquitoes. Economically, the costs of dealing with these climate change impacts are staggering. They can stress economies, leading to job losses and inequality. Moreover, global warming is a significant threat to the world's biodiversity. As habitats change and disappear, countless species are at risk of extinction, disrupting ecosystems that we rely on. We are at a juncture where we must confront the choices made during the Industrial Revolution ramifications. The path we are on now is one that has been carved by the choices made during the Industrial Revolution. The question we must ask ourselves is, do we continue down this path, or do we consciously make an effort to forge a new one? This new path should be one that considers the health and well-being of our planet and all its inhabitants, humans, animals, and plants alike. It should be a path that aims for sustainable development, one that values the Earth's resources and uses them judiciously. It should also consider the prosperity of future generations, ensuring that they inherit a planet that is livable, vibrant, and full of life. We must remember that the choices we make today will shape the world of tomorrow. Will we continue on this path, or will we forge a new one? A path that respects the health of our planet, the well-being of all its inhabitants, and the prosperity of future generations. The choice is ours.